94.3 The Dude is very grateful to our men and women in uniform. We're proud to recognize local members of our military by turning the spotlight on them right now in our Soldier Salute.
Today on the Soldier Salute, we're speaking with South Carolina National Guard Captain Ashley Young. All right, so Captain, tell me about you.
Well, I've been in the National Guard for 16 years. I was born and raised in Newberry, South Carolina, went to Newberry High School.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a licensed professional counselor by trade.
Right.
For the Guard full-time, I manage the sexual assault prevention and response program. Some of my hobbies, just like spending time with friends and family.
What have you got for family?
So we have a teenager and then we have an 18-month-old. So
oh my gosh.
A big gap in our household. So just two children.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think your teenager thinks about you serving in the National Guard?
Because both me and my husband, we both are in the National Guard. So I guess growing up in a military home, we're both full-time National Guard. So maybe not so popular earlier on, but now as she's preparing for college and calculating those dollars, the Guard is looking more and more better to her. What
got you charged up 16 years ago to say, you know what, I want to be in the Guard, I want to be in the military, I want to serve my community and my country?
I had a very good recruiter. In high school, I was a cheerleader. Joining the National Guard was the furthest thing from my mind. But I was a product of a single-family home. And the recruiter came and talked to me, often, and he knew my desires to go to college. So he explained the benefits of going to Guard, and all my mother's requirements were that I didn't miss any college. So I became an admin person, so the AIT and basic training I was able to complete during the summers and start school on time in the fall. So I think my military career was based upon, at least beginning, a very good recruiter.
Sure.
Yeah. The Guard has been very good to me, to have a master's degree and for that to be paid for by the National Guard by serving 1 week in a month and 2 weeks out of the year and only have it to serve downrange in theater one time. I think that is a lot to get for what I've actually had to give back to the Guard.
16 years ago, you decide, I'm going to go serve. You get ready, you go to MEPS, you take your ASVABs, you get tested out, get your job, and then you get on the bus and you pull up to, where'd you go to training?
I went to Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
All right, so you're at Fort Sill, you're riding in on the bus, you pull up, you hear the brakes squeak, and suddenly you see a sea of campaign hats headed your way.
Yeah.
Tell me about your thoughts on basic training.
For one, I thought I was in the wrong location. I thought I should have been at Fort Jackson, but Fort Sill there, and I thought I made the wrong decision. I went straight from cheerleading camp to boot camp, and it was quite a rude awakening for me. So I was ready to at least try to get back home as fast as I could.
So you weren't sure when you got off and Shark Attack happened. You weren't sure you made the right choice.
I was not sure. I was not certain. Probably was not certain until I graduated from basic training that I had made the right decision.
Looking back on your basic training, was it a good or bad experience?
I wouldn't say it was the best time of my life, but I definitely got some long-lasting friendships and some training and some skills that I never would have acquired outside of the Guard. So I enjoyed my training to the best that I could.
In the last 16 years, you probably have figured out you like a few things. Maybe you don't like a few things about military service. Nothing's perfect, that's for sure. What is your favorite thing about being a soldier in the Guard?
The camaraderie. Over 16 years, especially now being a commander, right now I have 168 soldiers that I'm responsible for. Just being able to establish that rapport and connect on a much different level, when you're downrange, there are so many things that are going on back at home. Right. There's so many things that you're experiencing there, and everyone there is experiencing the same thing. And so it's just that level of camaraderie that I love.
So, Captain, over the last 16 years, you've done a lot of things, been deployed, you've, served very proudly, obviously, for the last 16 years. When you get up in the morning and you put on your uniform of the day, whether it's your BDUs, ACUs, whatever you're going to put on, and you look yourself in the mirror as you're heading out the door, what do you think about when you say, I'm a soldier, I get to do this every day? What goes through your head, and does it even still impact you now?
Oh, it does still impact me. I joke with my friends in the morning. We have a little group chat, and I just think it's mind-blowing sometimes, and they think it's mind-blowing sometimes of how early we get up in the morning, how disciplined that we are with doing, running, and they're just getting up at 8:30 just to put on the dress to go to work. So sometimes, you think that you miss out on that, but you realize it's definitely a true small percentage of the population that have that lifestyle. And so it's quite a privilege.
Captain, let me ask you this. With all your years in, you went from cheerleading camp to boot camp, and 16 years later, you're still serving. What advice do you have to someone maybe who's listening that isn't sure? Maybe they're thinking, I might want to do this. Maybe not. I'm not really sure. What advice would you want them to think about?
I would say, give it a shot. I think that the National Guard gives you the opportunity to participate in both worlds. You train. You get to serve your country, but also the Guard provides great benefits. You look at me, I didn't miss school at all. The Guard, my service didn't prevent me from getting my undergraduate degree or my graduate degree. And I still have a part-time practice serving as a professional counselor. And yet I'm a commander, and then yet I still have a full-time job with the Guard. So I think it definitely enhances your ability to do more. And they provide great benefits with that.
So, Captain, you mentioned you're a commander. Tell me about what you do in the National Guard.
I have two roles in the National Guard. My part-time role is a commander of a transportation company, and we provide motor transport and hauling capabilities for not only the state, but other depots across the state. So, just in recent times, we have hauled sandbags to provide some flood relief to during Hurricane Joaquin and Hurricane Matthew. And then for our annual training, we actually provide Class 5, which is ammunitions deliveries to Oklahoma. So we actually travel in the summer months across the country delivering those, depending on the need.
And as a commander, you obviously lead other younger men and women as well.
Sure. Yes, absolutely. We have 3 platoons, which is just very small elements, and I have 2 other junior officers, and then 164 enlisted soldiers.
Captain, tell me about your conversation with your mom and dad when you said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do this. When you went home and said, hey, Daddy, whatever.
I think it was vice versa. The recruiter was very talented. He basically talked to my mom a lot. My mom was very well versed on the benefits of the Guard. So basically, when I would get home from school, she would say, you need to go down and talk to that recruiter. He said that you can get this and this for school. So that was pretty much my experience. We all sat down and had an agreement around the table that we thought it was the best decision for me to not come out with as much debt as it, didn't come in a home that was very wealthy. So financially, it was the best decision.
So you really sat down as a family and made a family decision versus having some animosity in the house. You're going to do it, and that's
Sure.
the way it is, Mama.
Yeah, so it was definitely a family decision, and I wouldn't have had it any other way.
Thanks for joining us in our Soldier Salute. This salute to our local soldiers on 94.3 The Dude is presented by Little Pigs Barbecue, serving Columbia since 1963, and All American Heating and Air. American and proud of it.